welcome. You are on the mountain with Rick and Datajunky, and it is time for Off the Cuff. But first,
But
off.
first, coffee time.
I do love me some coffee, especially when it's
Mm,
fresh ground with some cinnamon in there. How are you doing today, my friend?
delicious. Very well. Thank you very much for having me today, Rick.
My pleasure, and thank you as well for your patience, both to you and to the audience, because I know that we've been trying to make this happen for a little while. First time we've ever had to postpone twice, but it's all good. It's all good. We finally managed to hook up, and I'm sorry for the delays on your end, and the
Oh,
reasons behind that. Much better reasons
hey, you
than
know what?
my
We
own.
all everything. We're dealing actually with a death in the family. There's been so much going on here at this house. It's just been impossible to stay on top of just about anything. So I mean, no need to apologize. Life gets in the way. Everything's chaos, and I'm here for it.
Absolutely. So let's dive right in. And the first question I ask pretty much all of my guests: what was your first game? What was it that brought you into the gaming community? What was the first game you played? What was the first game you fell in love with? I don't really care how you choose to tackle the question, what angle to come from, but yeah, what was your start?
You know, I identify as a gamer. I mean, it's really hard to nail it down. I mean, I remember one Christmas as a kid. My parents were separated, but my dad always came on Christmas morning with a big garbage bag full of gifts for the kids, even though mom wouldn't open the door for him. It would be on the back steps. And inside this garbage bag was this console called an Odyssey. And I had never even heard of it. I was a comic book reader. I was like into Commodore and in television. That's all I saw. But then this guy drops off a bag of gifts, and inside is an Odyssey. I had no idea what the hell it was, but it came with like four games, and ever since that day, I've just been playing video games, and I've been going to the arcade all the time. Street Fighter was one of the games that I just couldn't stop playing for like forever.
Best
I
fighting
actually
game of all
own
time. Like Mortal
best
Kombat
fighting
is
game.
great, but
No,
Street
nothing
Fighter
even comes
is
close.
is the best.
The, the best, and it continues to dominate. Really,
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
I have a four-player arcade cabinet here in my house that emulates over 10,000 arcade games and console games. So anytime I want to play Dr. Mario or Tetris or both of them or Madden NFL or NBA Jam or Super Mario Brothers,
oh
I mean,
my
I can do.
God, NBA Jam. He's
Yeah,
on fire.
he's on fire. Yeah, dude, this is the best. Like, I love this arcade machine. One of my really good friends actually builds these systems. Like, he guts an entire arcade cabinet. The one I have is a four-player stand-up arcade cabinet with The Simpsons on it. You remember The Simpsons arcade?
Oh fucking hell! Do I remember The Simpsons? That's awesome.
I know. So I have that in my living room, and basically the kids dominate it now. Like, I don't even get to go on there anymore. They're just on there all the time. But I am a gamer. Like, I identify genuinely as a gamer. If
Yeah,
somebody was to
that's cool.
ask me,
That's awesome. I've never had an arcade machine, and honestly, I've never been like so much the arcade gamer. I My parents were techies. They started an internet service provider that competed against AOL in the early days.
nice.
So like I've always had, as long as I can remember, my own computer, and so I'm a computer gamer. I'm not even a console. Like I loved Nintendo,
Cool.
Super Nintendo. I hated N64. Had some
Yeah.
amazing games, but I just hated that controller. Um,
Yep.
PlayStation 2. I have not owned a console since PlayStation 2 came out, or a new console. So like,
Nice. Just
I
been on PCs ever since.
exactly. I and like MUDs, multi-user dungeons, way back in the day. The role-playing game chat rooms, and then WoW, and Diablo, the whole
Okay, you know
series of
what? Right
Diablo.
there, right there. That's my favorite game.
Diablo.
Diablo 2, Lord of Destruction, hands down, was
I
my
have
favorite game.
paid for the Diablo 2 battle chest 6 times. Like
So am I.
it's like I get a new computer, I get a new battle chest. And I start making my notes in the fucking book all over again. Actually, I did a stream in November. I found Diablo 1, the original, and the Hellfire expansion. And so I did a
Butcher.
full game stream, character creation to Diablo's death. And it was
Cool.
about 10 and a half hours of gameplay. It was a 12 and a half hour stream. And it was just
Unbelievable.
It was insane. It was so much fun, though.
I'm
Who's
gonna
your
have
favorite
to
class?
kick back, relax, and watch that stream then, because it's been a long time since I've seen a playthrough that long.
Right? What was your favorite class?
Kind of lame, but I like the Hammerden.
Hammerden? The Hammerden's solid, though. Like, when
Oh,
you're
yeah.
running multiplayer, there are very few player classes that you want your ally to be, aside from Hammerden. I never cared for actually playing them too much, but yeah, I love having one nearby.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, if you need to get somewhere in a hurry, just teleport like crazy, get there. I mean, it was just a sick character to play.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I have to say, like, my favorite for playing through like the whole game is definitely Necromancer or
Oh,
Assassin.
yeah, the Bone Mancer.
Yeah. Or well, Zoomancer for normal, Bone Mancer for Nightmare in Hell. It
Yeah.
requires a respec. Thankfully,
Oh, yeah.
they give it to you. But for endgame, Druid. I actually, when I was in Iraq, I got a new laptop, I got the battle chest, and I downloaded Jamela just to start fucking around with it. I mean, it's already like fourth purchase of the battle chest. Never cheat on a new game, kids. Like, play through for real before you start fucking cheating on shit. Enjoy the game, learn the game, know
Oh,
the game,
man,
then you know how to cheat it. But
The fucking dupers, the people that duped items and everything, they just completely wrecked the entire in-game economy just for themselves, for their own personal profit.
yeah. Now, to be honest, in that playthrough, I did use the duplication bug.
Which
Mostly
one?
Just to, duplicate my spell books so that I could, not have to be.
Oh, that's for the original Diablo you were
Yeah.
saying, right?
Yeah. So
Did you know
I
of the
did use
dupe-
the dupe bug just because otherwise it would have been a 15, 16, 20
Oh,
hour
yeah.
stream. And it's like, but
that stands out as one of the memories for Diablo 1 was the dupe method, and there was a Staff of Apocalypse. You remember that? The most powerful weapon
Yep.
in the game. So I'm in the game, I started it, and I got this hack, and I got the Staff of Apocalypse, and I just walked through the whole game like this, boom, 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 and every time you hit it down, everything on the screen dies. So it's like literally not even fun. It might be slightly entertaining at first because
it's cool, but it's not fun.
overpowered. You're like a god just walking through, bang, bang, bang. But after that, after I beat the game, it changed my life forever. It was like, all those times where I cheated at like blackjack with my sisters or something, camping or whatever. All those times I scooped an extra hotel for a boardwalk when I was cheating in those games. It made it really stick out. And I thought to myself, cheating sucks. Cheating actually ruins everything. And that's when it dawned on me. I had this huge epiphany cheating in Diablo 1 where I just stopped cheating. I stopped lying. My whole life pretty much changed from that moment on. Really. It was a big epiphany for me. Cheating sucks. Cheaters, you suck.
Yeah, absolutely. And then so I downloaded Jamela for it and just, was messing with it and whatnot and kind of playing with the tools and seeing what I could actually do. And so I made myself a level 99 druid and I made him powerful enough that this guy could walk up to Hell Baal and just stand there and let Baal kill himself. No, I mean, I could pretty much one-shot him, yeah, but no.
Yeah.
Even better, I'll just stand here and
Just
let
stand
you
there and
kill
take it?
yourself.
Brutal.
Not even a thorny did, because that would have been easy to do. No, I did that shit with a druid.
Yeah, when Diablo 3 first came out, I missed the launch a little bit, but I bought the game for my Xbox, 360, I think at the time. And I put it in, I installed it, and I was all jazzed about playing it because I hadn't been playing Diablo in like a couple of years. I was all anticipating Diablo 3 and my life moved on, And then I get the game and I install it and I get in there and the first person I meet is like, hey, what's up? You want some items? And he gives me a bunch of godly gear. And again, it was like I was just walking through going, and I was like, this game. I'm done. And I never played it again. I probably still have all those crazy items that the guy gave me. I'm like, and it was like a week after the game opened and everybody was already hacking the shit out of it and had godly gear and it was just ruined.
Oh, see, I kind of missed that part because I had an interesting story with Diablo 3. I was super excited for it, especially when they were talking about real money auction house, right? Like, those words were magic to my ears. Now, for those in the audience, remember, this is before Web3 was a thing, right? So this is, wait a minute.
2006, 2007.
You're telling me that I can actually turn my gaming hobby into a paying career legitimately. We're not talking about running thousands of bots and being, against TOS and being a bannable offense. No, we're talking about honestly supported within the game, real money auction house. Okay, I'm fucking down. This is what we're doing. So I pre-ordered it, and I was there at midnight at GameStop for the release with a couple of my good friends.
Right on.
Picked up that shit, got home, installed it. Shit took 6 hours of just nail biting. Right? I'm just waiting. I'm raring to go. And then I finally get it installed and I go to launch it. Your graphics card is not supported.
So you got to go to the computer store and buy another $250 graphics card?
I'm a young, dumb, broke kid at this point. Like, it's 6 months. 6 months before I can get a graphics card. And in that time, the real money auction house died. Yeah. So by the time I get onto the game, the number one thing that I got involved for, I can't even fuck with. But I still, I still loved the game, and I played the shit out of it, and that was honestly where I fell in love with hardcore mode. Never played hardcore mode before that, but fell in fucking love, and got to the point where like I ran Greater Rift level 100. On a hardcore demon hunter, which is, the squishiest of all of the classes.
Did you ever get into low-level duels on hardcore?
I never really got into hardcore PvP at all.
Okay, because how it worked is you just create a new character, you enter in a game with other people, and it was all tracked on this website called d2jsp.org. Have you ever heard of that?
I have not, but I love the fact that you just pulled out that random ass string of fucking characters like you were looking at it.
This is a website where like Diablo players would come and download like one of the bots that you could just bot with. Like it would just run through and gather material while you were at work for 8 hours a day. You'd come home and have a bunch of runes in your chest or whatever. So this guy created this bot, and then out of that bot service came this huge community of like traders and gamers just for Diablo, and it was fucking massive. Actually, you should check it out. But and aside from that, I go on there, and there's all these people trading, and what was I going to say? What were we talking about?
The low-level hardcore duels.
Low-level hardcore duels. So it would all get tracked on this website where these guys would organize these tournaments. But essentially, you go in. You level up to level 9 because you'd have to be level 9 to duel. And then you play through the game in hardcore mode with other people in the same realm until you get to level 9. As soon as you get to level 9, you stop. You're not allowed to pick anything else up. You go back to town and you wait for everybody else to get to level 9 with their loot. And then you just hardcore duel with whatever you could get. It's kind of like opening a starter pack of Magic the Gathering and just working with what you got.
That's pretty awesome, actually. Like, now I want to do that. Like, fuck. Now I gotta go get the battle chest again.
Fun. It was really fun. And I mean, as you know, some of those items, they have a item requirement where you can only, you can't equip an item unless you are level 9.
Yep.
So those low level, like usually just really shitty items.
Really shitty.
They were so valuable on the secondary market.
That's
because
one of those
everybody
few situations where you actually pick up gray gear, because if it has the correct level requirement, it's going to be better than your white or even blue shit.
For sure.
I mean, that's crazy.
Diablo
shit.
2 was just a love of my life, really. Like, I made a lot of money on that game, to be honest. In 2006, I was working at Bowflex Fitness, selling Bowflex machines on the phone to everybody in Canada, really, who was calling me. And while that's going on,
just playing.
I had 3 computers at home, all running Diablo and all like just printing runes, just duping runes over and over and over again, and trading away dupe runes for like legit stuff, and then selling that legit stuff on eBay.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
it was
awesome.
A good time, man. It was a great time in my life. It was a lot of fun and a huge learning experience too, because you're selling virtual in-game items, which is you're not even allowed to do that. So like my auctions and stuff on eBay would be like, yeah, you're buying a pencil, and with this pencil you're going to get this Diablo 2 rune and all this other stuff. So
nice.
I mean, you kind of had to get in there.
That's a slick way to go about it. I like that. I only made money off of one Web 2 game ever, and that was I don't know if you remember, there was this website called MySpace that used to exist.
MySpace?
Yeah, sure. And then after Facebook kind of took over as the de facto social network, MySpace existed only for games. And there was a quite thriving gaming community on there for a number of different games. One of the most popular was Mafia Wars. Slightly less popular than Mafia Wars, but a better game was Mobsters. I was in Mobsters.
I don't remember that one.
It was very, very similar to Mafia Wars, only it was first. But Mafia Wars was bigger because they had better advertising. But when I finally quit and just got done with Mobsters and everything like that, I sold out. I sold over 250 MySpace accounts for a few $100s, because this was also my introduction to bots. And so I started botting with that, and I just went ham, and it was crazy. And actually, I met someone on Mobsters, and ended up moving in with her up in Colorado. That was how I moved up to Colorado, which as a state is the love of my life. But so it's like, yeah, I met her online, although it was a game and not like a dating app and whatnot. And I knew it probably wasn't going to work out between us when I moved up there, but I had gone up there to visit her and fell in love with Colorado. So it was like, that's where I need to be. So came back, and within a month I had quit my job, packed up a truck, and was on my way up there. And that was how I moved up to Colorado. But that was like my only time of actually, real world profit off of in-game stuff before Web3 happened. But I always like kind of had that mindset. I just never really got into it with any of the Diablos and whatnot, because like I love these games so much, and it's against TOS. Like it would kill me if I got banned for something like that. So I never even fucked with it. And so, but with Mobsters, it was officially against TOS, but there was no enforcement whatsoever. But also, I feel like that kind of perspective, especially for the Splinterlands community, is something that makes me kind of unique, because there's that whole... do you play Splinterlands at all?
I have played it, but I don't have any cards anymore.
Okay. But so you're not really part of the community or keeping up with the goings on?
No, well, I try to keep my finger on the pulse of Splinterlands, especially now that I'm in the CM role at Metropolis Origins. Any trading card game, I'm going to be all over it now. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, the biggest thing is really like there are a lot of ongoing and consistent discussions, but one of the biggest is bots. And
yeah, absolutely,
people
man.
Continuously think that, the game just needs to ban bots, and then bots will not be a problem. And it's like, I seem to be the only person yelling into the void that it doesn't fucking matter. The team can ban bots all they want to. They can make bots against TOS. The bots are not going anywhere. Look at every fucking game that is on the internet that bans bots and is overrun with bots. Like, y'all think that them changing their stance on bots is going to change anything. It's not. It's going to change the names on the bot farm accounts, and that's it.
You can't fight bots.
You
You
can't.
can only you can develop ways to mitigate bot abuse, but you really have in today's day and age where your digital identification is pretty much nothing. Anybody can be anybody, anywhere, anytime. So
Yeah.
the best analogy that I've ever heard for a bot abuse is this one. Let's say you work at a hotel and somebody calls you for a room. They're like, "Hello, this is the Splinterlands Hotel. How can I help you?" "Yeah, I'd like a room." "Okay." So they take a credit card and name and they reserve it and they do a deposit and you go and you stay at the room and you leave. If any damages happen, they just deduct it from your credit card.
Yep.
Well, the bots can go in, rent every single room in the entire hotel, trash the fucking place like they were Home Alone, whatever that kid's name is that trashed the hotel.
Kevin McAllister.
There you go. That's him. Anyway, those are bots, and your hotel will have no recourse. You can't do chargebacks on a bunch of stolen credit cards.
Right.
The bots win every single time.
Yeah, you can try.
Your entire hotel is garbage now, and it's going to cost you more to fix it than to build a whole brand new hotel because of the abuse that bots do. It's insane. You can't stop it.
No, you can't. You can disincentivize and you can mitigate, exactly, but you can't stop them, and that's something that I feel like I've been screaming into the void for years now, because
It'll continue.
I've been playing for Splinterlands for almost 2 years, and like it's never not been a topic of conversation. It's never not been a bone of contention.
Never, and it always will be. Yeah.
So
always.
My question for you, as the developer of Metro Origins, and we'll start kind of segueing into that, is, so what is your stance on bots? What do you do to kind of mitigate and disincentivize? How do you deal with that? And as someone who unfortunately has not been able to get into the game yet, I don't even actually know how it works. So,
well, I'd love to show you. It's the most fun game on Wax. I guarantee it.
Okay.
I know that's a strong statement to make, but
that is a strong statement to make. But I am definitely willing to have you back that up.
I'm a gamer, so it's my favorite game on Wax. And bro, I'm in almost every game. Like I was in Splinterlands, but it's just old hat for me now.
Fair enough. See, I really like the depth of strategy in Splinterlands, which you don't really experience early on in the game. I don't know how I got so hooked on it early on. I think it was just the idea. I was looking, because of the pandemic, I was looking for a replacement for Magic the Gathering, because it became impossible to play Magic face-to-face, and I refuse to play Magic online, because I am not going to spend thousands of dollars to buy cards that I do not own.
The shit some bronze players say, you know what I'm saying?
Right?
Yeah. Fucking bronze players, get out of here.
But no, and it's not even about, it's just like, in bronze, your mana caps are so limited, you never have rule sets, and even if you do, you get one. Like, in silver, to me, is where the game really starts, because you start getting cards with multiple abilities. You start to have multiple rule sets, and you start to have decent mana caps. It gets better in gold and then better in diamond, and I've never made it to champion because I don't have that high quality of a deck, and I'm also not that high quality of a player. I can admit that myself. Like, I've said it on stream many times before, I am not the best player of any game. I'm good at research, I am good at dissemination of information. Like, I can teach you to beat me at Splinterlands, I can teach you to beat me at golf, I can teach you to beat me at bowling, I can teach you to beat me at pool, I can teach you to beat me at anything I know how to do, because I know the fundamentals.
Are the things that I love to do. Get out of my life.
I mean, I love all of them. I'm not particularly good at any of them, but I'm passable. I'm better than most at most. But I'm not great at any of them. What I am great at is fucking teaching.
That's awesome. You know, that's actually a really good skill. A lot of people can say all the right things, but they're painting a picture that's really muddy waters, so people just don't see it clearly. If you have the ability to paint beautiful pictures with your words, you're going to be an awesome teacher.
That's exactly it. Like, that is my skill set, is research and communication. And I'm decent at, the gaming. I just really love the gaming and I'm passionate about it, so that really drives the research. But yeah, I'm the guy that, like, I'm actually, I spend time, and on my streams I actually read white papers word for word. Like, I'm that guy.
Yeah, I think that's a really important skill that a lot of people just don't have these days.
Yeah.
Most people just dive in.
And I've been there. Like, I've been on the bad end of that. Like, I dove into Dead End City without even looking. Like, I just saw, zombie game coming out on Wax. All right, I know zombies are going to be a fucking hit in the gaming world because they are. So I fucking dove in head first, and it was a rug pull. I got taken for over 100 Wax, which thankfully Wax is cheap, so that wasn't all that much. It sounds like a lot, but it wasn't that bad. And so I have that zombie on the market in my wallet still. I listed it for a significant profit in case it ever sells. I have watched it lose 99% of its value, and it's still listed where I put it at because it's a lesson for me. If I never sell it, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with taking a loss.
Can I ask you a question?
I am not going to sell it for a loss, though. It's not going to happen.
I'm curious. What was your best sale in Wax?
I got a pack. It was either end of season 1 or end of season 2 on Realm. I borrowed some Wax from a buddy of mine, and I bought a pack. And then when I opened that pack, I got a legendary caffeine. So I had borrowed 350 Wax, turned that into Realm, bought the pack, opened the pack. I used that legendary caffeine for like a season and a half because I immediately put it on the market at a ridiculous price that I thought I would never get. But I was able to still use it while it was on the market, so I did.
Yeah, I like that.
And then all of a sudden, one day, there's 2,200 Wax in my fucking wallet, and my legendary caffeine is gone, and I'm like, holy shit, someone bought it!
Fucking awesome. That's a good sale.
Yeah. I'm not unhappy with that at all. I also, for Warsaken, I have the number 1 mint of Instilling Fear in the camo.
Nice.
And so you know what? That's up for sale.
I bought a bunch of Warsaken packs early on, like during their whatever pack sale that they had. And then, they promised this awesome game and it looked great. And a bunch of time went by and I didn't see any game. And I was, how it is when you go into your collection and you're like, hey, what am I playing? What am I doing? What is this again? And it's like, oh, okay, I'm just going to sell everything, whatever. So I did that with Warsaken. I put all my cards up for sale. But while I did that, I also looked on the secondary market to see if there was any opportunity. So I always look for number 1 mints. And I don't know why I do that. I'm just a straight up degenerate. So I bought a ton of like number 1 mints from the Warsaken community, just for shits and giggles.
Right.
Just to see, like, if this game goes somewhere, I just want to be holding a few number 1 mints just in case. They're not spectacular cards, and they were all like under 100 Wax each, but I bought quite a few of them. I can show you them if you want.
Sounds cool. Yeah, we can definitely take a look at that off stream. But yeah, that's kind of. What's your favorite mint number, actually? Is it number 1s? For me, I like 11 and 11T1 because there's so much competition. My favorite
number is 3, but when it comes to mint numbers, I know as a collector and just for like posterity's sake, mint number 1 is my favorite.
Oh yeah, and I mean, like I would never turn down a 1 for an 11 or an 11T1.
No doubt.
But at the same time, it's like I know everybody wants number 1. So, like, all of my friends that, like, do actually mint, it's like, I don't want number 1. I'm not going to try and claim that. I want number 11, or if you go over 100, I would actually like 11T1 even more than 11.
Nice. Yeah, a lot of people have their favorite numbers. You can see in just about any collection the numbers 7 and 13, are the ones that got bought up like almost immediately.
Yep.
And then you have the other odd numbers like 23, where everybody thinks they're Michael Jordan still, and it's 1991. But
right.
Like, yes, Michael Jordan is awesome. I love Michael Jordan.
Greatest basketball player of all time. Yes.
The guy's insanely good at everything he does.
Yeah.
He even smokes cigars better than anybody I've ever seen.
Well, no, not everything. Not baseball. Not baseball.
Not baseball, yeah. Baseball? No. Bro, stop it.
Not baseball.
Who else
But
did
no,
that? Who else
I
was
mean,
it?
great
Bo Jackson?
businessman too. Like he you know, he's definitely an impressive figure, and definitely
when his
rocks a
dad was
bald head
murdered-
better than anybody else too.
When his dad got murdered, I mean, I think the whole world felt that, you know?
Yeah.
That was messed up.
And I
The
was
world's a
talking
crazy
about,
place,
talking about
the world is
yesterday
a
at
crazy
work.
ass
People whose names end in E need to stop getting on helicopters. Like Kobe,
No doubt.
Stevie.
What is up with that? Kobe. Poor guy.
So, tell me more about Metro Origins. How did this start? How did the idea come to you? Do you like have a world built and then started the game around it? Did the idea for the game come to you? You built the world around it. Like, what was your process like?
Well, first of all, I'm not the developer of this game.
Okay.
I wish I was, but I'm not. And I'm not very technical. So any technical questions, I would defer to the dev team. However, I can tell you pretty much everything about the game and the origin story, which is really interesting.
So you're the creator, not the developer.
I'm just a community manager.
Oh.
And I do add in my own little twist of creativity on occasion, and it will sometimes get picked up by the rest of the world builders. But honestly, this is a very small team that was formed during the pandemic, so that they all got together and they all decided, you know what, we have this vision and we all have these talents. Let's put our heads together and build something great. So they started the company QXR Studios. And QXR Studios is a small elite team of like industry professionals in the game development and world building areas. Like Graham Devine worked on things like Halo Wars and Quake 3 Arena. I mean, this is the guy that ported over pole position to the Atari console, you know?
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's some
like,
pedigree.
He's a legend. So every moment that I'm in their Slack channel is an opportunity for me to grow as a person, for real. They also have Andy Lanning, which is an incredible artist. He works with DC Comics and Marvel Comics. So like you've seen Baby Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
That's Andy Lanning.
And he's part of your team. That's fucking awesome. That's
right. Yeah, he's part of the team. Like my team, no, I'm part of their team. I'm just a little side pocket shuffle that they decided. You know, they had a community manager early on, and he was running some tournaments and he was okay, but he wasn't very engaging. And there wasn't a lot of updates going on, and the price of the wax token kept dwindling, and they just couldn't get enough players in the hub. And it just kind of died out. And I'm a diehard fan. I really like really good games. I love fun games. And I'm also a Magic player. So that's why I was still around. And I just asked them straight out. I said, if you guys need a community manager, let me know. And then one day, one of the team members reached out to me in DM and said, hey, we are looking for a community manager. If you know anybody, let me know. So I took the hint and I applied for the job myself. And, you know, it's not like a super high paying job or anything. It's just, I was already doing it as a volunteer anyway. So I decided to just step into this role and see what I can do.
I believe it was the Joker who said, if you're good at something, never do it for free.
You know what? There is a maxim of law, and it goes something like this. It says, equity never favors a volunteer. That's a maxim of law. So if you're volunteering to like do your taxes, for example, you have no risk for anything that happens because you volunteered to do that service. But if somebody forces you to do it, you can charge them money and say, look, I'm going to do my taxes, but not voluntarily. You're going to have to pay me like $50,000 an hour, and then I'll do it. Because if it's not a consensual contract, literally, you just can't get stuck in there. So, like, I know people who are getting out of doing their taxes by using that maximum law. It's ridiculous. But yeah, equity doesn't favor the volunteer. Long story short, I was already volunteering quite a bit of my time just to promote the game, looking for people to play with because I love the game. And I know Wax doesn't really have a lot of fun games. They're mostly just developing stages of what a game might be in the future. And it's all just clicking and blockchain transactions, which is great for like blocktivity and showing how much your blockchain is good to transact on and cheap to transact on, you know, in comparison to like Ethereum, where everybody's running out of gas and nobody can afford anything. And unless you're a whale and you have a couple of mutant punks and pet rocks in the wings, I mean, you can't really do much on Ethereum anyways.
Right. I mean, I love Ethereum as a concept and as a blockchain, but like, fuck Ethereum for actual use.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It was, and it still is, it was really good in 2015 when it was like less than a penny to transact. And it was still great in 2017 when it was like 10 cents to do a transaction and all these ICOs were going crazy. But
then it went up to like $50 for a transaction, and now it's back down to like $5, which is a huge improvement, but it's still fucking way too goddamn much. Like, I'm over here doing like, 5 cent to $1 transactions. I'm not paying $5 in gas for that. Like,
hell no.
Fucking minnow here.
Once people figure out that you can own the gas tank that fills up every day, and you don't have to keep putting gas in, you don't have to keep gassing up your Lambo every day, you know, people will start coming to that shop. And that's Wax. I mean, that's EOSIO. That's another thing about me. I don't know if you guys know this, but I work for Generios. We're the #1 block producer on the EOS network, which is where, you know, Wax was born from.
I do know that Wax came from EOS. I know very little about EOS overall. And
good.
Yeah, I didn't know that you were connected to them, although I did kind of figure it out when I posted the tweet earlier, and I linked you, and I saw your name came up. It was like, I linked at Datajunky, and then it changed to at EOS. I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, okay, so he's probably involved in EOS as well. I think my biggest issue with Wax is just how much of a pain in the ass everything is going from the game to the blockchain. Like, that's one of the things I liked about Realm so much over most of the other games that I play. Is like, you connect to Wax when you log in and when you withdraw your RLM. That's it. Like, and NFD, same way. Like, it's not, it doesn't feel like it's on the blockchain because you're not constantly having those fucking pop-ups that you have to sign the transactions for.
Exactly.
That is one of the few things that I really have against Wax. But
you know, it's a double-edged sword too, Rick, because, you know, the game developers and the network itself, like all the block producers and the people working on Wax, see, they require transactions on the network. Otherwise, fuck good is your network if nobody's transacting on it.
Right.
So the developers are incentivized to add in these mining games so that people can come and do like 10 or 15 or 20 transactions a day, because that really pumps your stats for the rest of the world to see. And I get that. It's like free marketing. But at the same time, you're building a game that, you know, requires resources, adds complexity, has a whole bunch of other steps, and a smart contract involved. Really, what people are going to end up using, and I mean, we all know this to be true, is when you log into a game and you play the game and the game is super fun and you don't even know you're on a blockchain, that's a winner, baby.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to do for Dragon Memories. I know it's not going to be possible to get it that streamlined, but I do, like, I very much want to make it as streamlined as possible. Like,
Send me the game design document and I'll have a look at it this weekend. I have some free time. I'd love to give you all my input if I can and whatever feedback that you think is valuable. I'd be happy to do that for you guys.
awesome. Yeah, I'll send you some links in the Discord when we get done here, and you can take a look over whatever you want. We're still very early on, so I really need to do a lot of development on the documents to share as well. Mostly,
cool.
What I've been doing is I have this world that I've spent over 20 years building, and
I love it.
This is it started out. It's basically actually a D&D world, but also includes everything I have ever done throughout my history of gaming. Like,
I'd love to dig into that cube a little bit more if I could.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But like my very first Diablo character. She's my goddess of chaos. She is also like I was having trouble coming up with a name, so I just kind of smacked the keyboard, and then I did some adjustments to what came out of it. Yeah, and so I ended up with Kofio, Cofeo.
Oh, nice.
And that was my first Diablo character. And then I used the same name for World of Warcraft, and I've used the same name for a bunch of other games and whatnot. And then I've actually come up with the story of how she was born on Galil, and she got banished from Galil, and then went through all of these other games. Then she came back to Galil, and then she ended up becoming the goddess of chaos. And when she ascended, she blew off a corner of the world.
That's cool. And that actually helps you mount it up on top of that nice buffet you got.
Absolutely.
Bro,
that part of it was
a beautiful piece of furniture right there. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I love this thing. Also, you can.
That's nice. You got any liquor in there?
No, just a bunch of D&D minis.
Oh, attaboy. Hey, check this out. Look what's in my pocket today.
Ah, shit! He got a D20. All right, I got it.
Hold on.
This is not my gaming dice. This is just my magic dice.
Check it out. Hey, nerd. Look at this.
Nice. I like that sack, too. My best friend's mom actually knitted this one for me.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we are such geeks today.
Fuck yes.
Best
way to be.
The geek shall inherit the earth.
Have you made any dice, though?
No, I have not made any dice. Oh, down a little bit. I can't see it. Oh, sweet.
Chewing gum.
Get out of here.
When I get, I don't chew gum very often, but when I do, I will usually, like do 3 or 4 pieces, and then once they're chewed up, just like set it aside, and like I have to keep flipping it and whatnot, but cube it up, and then toothpicks to put the fucking pips in, and just keep turning it, letting it dry and whatnot. And I've got like 5 or 6 of these things now. It takes like a year for them to dry enough to where they're hard enough to actually roll without deforming, but it's pretty cool. And obviously, it's not something I would ever give anybody else to roll because it came out of my mouth, but it's still fun to kill people with.
You like sharpen your gum down into a shiv? Like a +5 Warple gum sword.
I mean, if you had a long enough prison sentence, you would probably find an infinite number of other things that are more efficient, but it would be possible.
I have not played any Dungeons and Dragons in a long time. Actually, one of my oldest and closest friends, who for some reason has just grown a little bit estranged over the last few years during the pandemic, he's just been different. He's in a group and he plays all this D&D, but you know how it is. They're full. And I'm like, fine, I'll just play by myself.
Yeah, I feel ya. I have not played since I was up in Colorado, so it's been a few years. It's really hard to get a group together. That's the biggest thing. Like,
that's the biggest thing, yeah.
I don't need to find a DM. I obviously have the world. I am the DM. I'm perfectly
Right.
happy to play for another DM as long as they're good. But usually I'm the one running the game, and that's fine because I love it. That obviously I'm passionate about it. I have a fucking
Dude,
world.
you would make a fantastic dungeon master.
Oh yeah, and
Of course.
I've got. I don't have enough voices, but I've got a pretty good stable. And
Of voices?
hmm?
Of voices, you said?
Yes.
Nice.
Blood Cove.
Right on.
So I put a lot into it, and I mean I've got a 350,000 year history for Galil. I've got like a 10 million year future, and we've got plot points galore. There are potentially world ending events happening every 100 to 200 years,
Nice.
and shit's just fucking insane.
I've read pretty much every single Dragonlance novel in existence. I've fucking read them all.
Nice.
Every Forgotten Realms book. I mean, I just picked these up the other day at a thrift store. But I'm gonna get started on it. It's Dritz Du Erden.
Nice. That's a hell of a collection right there.
Yeah, this is the War of the Spider Queen series, book 1 through 6.
Gotta love when you can actually find the complete series all at once.
Yeah, yeah. I lucked out there. I love it. They were all in there. Yeah, these are the guys that I worked with, Generios.
Cool.
Basically, they're a block producer, right? So they're miners. They process all the transactions on the EOS network, just like the block producers on Wax do.
Cool. What's your favorite book series that you've read so far?
Definitely Dritz Du Erden and the Dark Elf trilogies.
Okay. I'm a big fan of I can't say it's my favorite that I've read because I'm not all the way current with it, but love Wheel of Time.
Oh, the Wheel of Time, Robert Jordan.
Absolutely love Wheel of Time. I'd have to say my
Incredible.
favorite series that is complete and that I have completed is The Dark Tower.
Oh, I love the Dark Tower trilogy, bro. That was such a great the first 3 books. Those are the only ones I read. But it
Oh,
was so
okay.
long ago.
1 through 3 were great, but I'll tell you, book 5. Book 5 was where that shit got insane. I did not close book 5. I read it
Oh my
cover
God.
to cover without closing it. Like, it was
Really?
it was so good.
I still haven't even
literally
seen the
could not
movie
put
yet.
it down.
Well, so little time.
Yeah, it was a whole day thing. Like I'm walking through the house, reading, walking into walls, going to the bathroom because I gotta take a piss. But
I know that
I
feeling,
can't
dude.
put the fucking book down. I can't stop reading it long enough to look where I'm going. It's just that fucking engaging.
Those are the books.
Exactly.
I love too, yeah. I gotta read those. I gotta pick up the other 3 books and pick up that series. It's been a long time. Thanks for the reminder.
Oh, there's 6 books.
There's 6 books. I had the first 3. I don't think I have them anymore.
No, I mean you got to pick up the other 6 books. It's 9.
Oh, there's 9 books. Jesus.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm missing 6 books.
And
now.
the thing I love about it, and this is honestly like a big part of the inspiration to start Galil, it actually connects like 90% of Stephen King's other works are related to the Dark Tower. Like,
Oh, wow.
it's actually all a single universe.
Yeah, so
And you don't
this is where he
realize it
ties
from
it all
most of the
together.
other shit until you read The Dark Tower. Like, it really is his magnum opus.
Man, Stephen King. Fuck. This is it.
Yeah.
6 more books.
King, he's a fucking legend.
Oh, man. Genius. He is woke as fuck, but he's a genius. Like, I'm following him on Twitter. Some of the shit that he says is just unbelievably stupid. And then you go and read his books and you're just blown away. It's like, who is this guy?
Right? Yeah, the good thing is you don't have to agree with someone's ideology in order to appreciate their art.
I mean, yeah, you got all these people weird. they're identifying as this or that. I'm a gamer. I identify as a gamer.
I identify as a UFO.
I mean, it's probably weird for some people, but for you to be at a UFO is not weird for me.
No, I identify as a UFO because that's an unidentified fucking object.
Nice. Fuck. So you were in the war, huh?
Yeah, I was in Fallujah during the second taking.
Fallujah. Fuck, what a shit show, man. How'd you do?
Well, thankfully, I was not actually like in the city. I was in Camp Fallujah. So we were close enough that we were receiving mortar fire on an hourly basis and shit like that. And so had a couple close calls on that end and shit like that. I was a driver, so did a bunch of convoys through some of the really nasty parts like Mosul and shit, like where they had a fucking they had tripwires, or not tripwires, but like cables strung across the road from some of the taller buildings at a height to where if you had a 50 cal, which is the machine gun with the longest barrel, and you've got the ass end all the way down so that the barrel's all the way up, they'll just barely clip the top of the rifle or the top of the barrel, and then come back, and it's like head height for most gunners. So yeah,
my God.
I obviously didn't get hit by any of them because but I was mostly driving. We did get ambushed. But like I'm also very, very lucky because when I went over there, like my unit that I was part of, I didn't go with them. I was there at the same time, but I actually got detached from my unit and sent with a different unit that was comprised entirely of people from other units. Like it was we just had a specific job. We went over there, and then I got detached from them to the CCP truck stop. So basically, like all the food in the chow hall, all the stuff that's in the PXs and whatnot, the military drivers aren't like driving that stuff to the bases and around and whatnot. That's all driven like on regular semi trucks by typical semi drivers, and then the military drivers were leading the convoy. We're protecting them trucks and guiding them and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
So at the truck stop, my job was to make sure that these guys have food, water, and fuel at all times, that they get out on the correct convoys, going to the correct places, and then when they're coming in, I've got to sort them out based on where they're from, because I've got people from everywhere around. I got Syrians, Lebanese, Turks, Kurds, fucking everything. And some of these people will kill each other on sight. Like Turks, Kurds, and Iraqis absolutely fucking hate each other. So
that hatred runs fucking deep.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're talking about Middle East here. There is no deeper hatred. Like it was super fun though, and also because of that relatively unique job, like we had a team of like 5. I had a translator. And he made trips to Baghdad every week. So I was the guy on base that had all of the Haji movies, and I had all of the alcohol, and I had all, like anything that anybody wanted that you couldn't get on base, I was the guy that had it. And so
you're like the concierge at the hotel. Whatever you need, whatever you want. You're the guy to go to.
And then also like because
thank you.
My pleasure. It was definitely a fun experience, and that was like I knew 100% when I joined that I was going to war. I was in boot camp for the first anniversary of 9/11. Like I had already committed and joined the delayed entry program before 9/11 happened. But
how old were you when 9/11 happened?
Would have been 16, 17, 16. Yeah, I turned 17 later that year, and then I was still 17 when I graduated boot camp. I turned 18 while I was home on boot leave, because in America, they typically start school a year later. As a Canadian, I had started early, and then, so I was still 17, young 17 when I graduated, And then I took a couple of months off, went up to Detroit, spent some time with my friends and whatnot, and then came back, went to boot camp, graduated, went back, and then after all the training, anyway, that's a long story that we can skip. But yeah, so in Iraq, it was, I knew I was going, and that was kind of what I joined for. The problem that I had was not related to that at all. I hated the rest of it. Like, I joined knowing about, we're going to go to the field. We're going to be, camping out and going shooting and training and all that shit. And it's just going to be hard. And I loved all of that. It was when you're not doing that, you're in the barracks and, by the way, we own you. Like, there's actually an article in the UCMJ, the article on sodomy, which says that you're not allowed to have sex in any position other than missionary.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the level to which they own you. And,
they control you, yeah.
Like, adultery is not, cheating on your wife or even screwing someone else's wife. It is having sex with anybody to whom you are not married.
Yeah.
And actually, it's not even having sex. It's having an inappropriate relationship with anyone to whom you are not married. So I actually got charged.
Oh, shit. That's everybody then.
Exactly. I actually got charged for adultery for having sex with a married woman who wasn't married, who I didn't have sex with.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when I came back from Iraq, one of my good friends from before I left, she had been having problems with her husband who beat her and abused her and her kids. And she'd been trying to get a divorce from him for the year that I knew her before going to Iraq. And when I come back from Iraq and I go out to the bar, I see her there the first night and she says, "It's official, I'm free." And so we get fucking hammered in celebration. And nice. Then at the end of it, like, she's got like a fucking like a 10-mile drive home, and I'm like 2 minutes away by taxi. So I'm like, and also I'm relatively sober because tolerance. She is fucking gone. I'm like, I am not letting you drive home.
Chicks, man.
Just come back with me. We didn't do anything. My roommate was actually out of town for the weekend. He was on leave. So she slept in his bed. I slept in my bed. But I drove her truck back to the barracks. And so I parked it in the parking lot. Her ex-husband, who did not want to admit to the divorce and is also a staff sergeant, he starts driving around base looking for her truck. He finds it, comes and busts into my fucking room. And so because she was there, and because I sleep naked, I got charged for adultery. For having sex with a married woman who was divorced, who I didn't have sex with.
Did you beat that?
Still worth it, though. I'm still glad I didn't let her drive home.
Yeah, no doubt.
That
Man, I've saved so many drunk people from killing themselves just being a designated driver. Especially after I quit drinking. I mean, all my friends were just overdoing it because now they had an excuse because I was driving.
Right? Yeah. I'm definitely... I'm glad that I never really went down that road. Like, there have been a couple of times where I've definitely made the poor judgment calls and
oh yeah,
not known how I got home, but my car was there. But like, I know people that do it all the time, constantly, and it's just like, no. Nowadays, like, for the last probably 10, 15 years, like, before I have my second drink, someone else has my keys, like, because I know I've hit that point before, and it's like. But then again, also
when I was 23, I moved into a one-bedroom apartment with my girlfriend at the time, Cassandra, and we weren't even in that apartment 1 month. Like, the rent hadn't even been due yet for the next month, and I get a call from my sister telling me that my girlfriend was in an accident on the highway. So I raced down to the hospital, and I see her there with a broken nose and missing teeth, and she's on a ventilator, and her parents were there, and everybody's fucking crying, and it's just one of the most traumatic experiences of my life, bro. And after after 2 days, the doctors pulled the plug because she was brain dead, and I lost her to a drunk driver. To a
Yikes.
drunk driver. Some dude just left a party early out in the country, and he was driving around in his work van, thinking he could just do it because he probably did it a lot. You know how drunk people are; they just don't care, and they're like, "Oh, nothing's ever happened before. Nothing's ever going to happen." Something happened one night. It was a head-on collision on the highway, and I mean, you're doing 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour. There's not much chance of survival there, bro.
No,
Not much
not
chance.
at all. I'm
So
sorry
to
you
all
had
the
to go
people out
through
there
that.
listening, and
That's a hell of a wake up right there.
if you are drinking and you are considering driving, just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
It's not worth it.
Not worth it. Not worth it at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, thankfully I don't have any experiences like that. I do have some within the extended family, but I don't feel like it's my place to actually talk about that.
I think everybody knows somebody, 6 degrees
Yeah,
of separation and all that. There's a lesson in everybody, really.
exactly. It's really just, yeah, whether or not people actually learn that lesson. And
Man, I bet you learned a lot in Fallujah.
oh
I
yeah,
bet you learned a lot.
yeah. It's real. You definitely, when you start, especially like my welcome to Iraq, when we first got there, like we flew into Kuwait and then we drove across the border up into
Mhm.
Iraq, and when we got to Fallujah, before we went to our barracks or anything like that, we stopped with PX, and one of my buddies that I was just starting to get to know, like I didn't know him before we met there or anything like that, but he picked up a TV. It was like, well, we're going to be here for like a year, so I'm going to go ahead and get my barracks room set up right. Got a TV. He's walking out of the PX with his brand new TV, and we just hear, and you already know what that sound is because we've done enough training. And so most of us, hit the deck. He, because he had the TV, did not. He just kept walking, and it went through the TV into his stomach, and then there's just pink mist and glass and plastic everywhere. And that was welcome to Iraq. Shit's real.
Wow, that's a big fucking pill to swallow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So
And again,
that shit definitely got serious real quick. But
man,
I
thank
mean,
you.
I had a couple of close calls myself. I got never actually injured by shrapnel or anything like that, but I did get hit by some, like went up into the air and then fell down. And like I
Still,
got hit by it, like, but just like a bounce off type of thing, not like actually hit by it. But yeah, we had one instance where, like, all over base, especially like when I was at the truck stop, just south of our position, there was a little army encampment, and they had a bunch of tents and whatnot. And then because the tents are all very flammable, there's no smoking allowed in the tents. Of course, they have a little smoking area
right.
set up outside, and there's a bunch of U
Smart.
barriers. They're like upside down, like concrete, reinforced rebar concrete fucking U's. And then you just, so you sit in those, so you're mostly protected. Well, there's two of them that are like end to end like this for a really nice long fucking rocket hits over here at this end. And just because it hit right at the end, all of the shrapnel is just ricocheting off the insides. There were 6 kids in there smoking, and I heard that rocket coming in, so the first thing I did, of course, duck and cover, and then once I saw where it hit, I start running, because I was like, oh, that's not going to be good. And then my corporal comes out of our trailer, our little office trailer, and he's like, what the hell's going on? And I was like, call for an ambo right fucking now. And I just fucking booked it down there. I jumped over the concertina wire and get over there, and 4 of them are already gone. It's just disintegrated almost.
Yeah.
And then I get over, there's 2 that look like they might be all right at first glance because they're not completely torn up, One of them is like I actually get in there, get a closer look, and I see brains on the shoulder, and it's like, okay, yet nothing I can do here either. The other one I pull out and start bandaging up and whatnot. Ambo shows up, and they tell me I saved a life. I don't fucking know. I didn't do anything, just a little bit of first aid and whatnot. But they're the real professionals. They're the ones that actually. But she ended up living, so I'm happy about that. I still don't think I had anything to do with it, but it's
a lot of people think that the war in Iraq was just obviously a lot of people say that it was just based on lies and stuff. What do you think?
We were definitely not told the truth about anything that has ever been said by the government. So were we there over a whole bunch of lies? Yeah, that's exactly what our government is. But on the ground, the people there, for the most part, were happy that we were there. At least when I was there. I know that sentiment has changed in the, fucking 15, 20 years since. But when I was there, for the most part, the locals were glad that we were there. So that made me feel good about it overall. Even though I knew, and I don't believe the stories we were told about 9/11. I don't believe the stories that we were told about the JFK assassination. I don't believe anything that the government says is probably 1% true, 99% CYA.
Exactly.
And that's, I'm not saying that's only the U.S. government either. That's the majority of governments. That's how this shit works. When you are in power, you do everything you can to maintain power.
Stay in power. They don't call it establishment for nothing.
Exactly. And this whole America is so fucking split politically right now over this whole Joe Biden and Trump and whatnot. And I will put it out there, Trump is the worst human being that has ever existed. I am not saying that Biden is good. No. In order to be considered for the job of the leader of any country, you have to be a world-class piece of shit in order to even be in the conversation. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Obama. Fuck Clinton. Fuck Bush. Fuck Bush. Fuck Bush. Fuck all of the Bushes. Fuck all of them. Every single one.
All the Clintons, all the Bushes,
exactly.
All the Kennedys, all the Trumps.
Exactly. Every single one of them is a world-class piece of shit just in order to be even in that fucking realm.
Grifters.
Exactly. It's all a fucking con. And
because they get everybody automatically paying no matter what.
And I don't...
voluntarily.
I don't try and talk about it all that often because I feel like you're screaming into the void because I don't have a solution for it. I don't like to just bitch about a problem and not have a solution.
Nobody even wants to hear your societal fucking gripes anymore. Exactly. Because they all have the same ones.
Exactly. Everybody knows that the system is fucked. They don't need to hear it anymore. Unless you've got something positive to say, just shut the fuck up. And I don't have a solution. I try and talk about things that I do have solutions.
If the government came into my house and said, "Hey, Bruno, we're giving you the Nobel Peace Prize," I would immediately check myself into anger management because I know they're fucking lying to me.
Right? I know I'm never going to be considered for any Nobelity either. But I'm fine with that. I've got my little audience. I've got my family. That's I got the people that I care about, and I'm always putting myself out there, and I'm always willing to meet new people and explore new things and whatnot. But I don't need to run the world. I don't. REM was wrong. Not everybody wants to rule the world. I don't want the job. I could not be president, even if I did want to, but no.
You can do it. You can do it.
No, I literally can't, because I'm not a natural-born American citizen. That is one of the requirements. You have to be
true, I guess.
born American.
I guess that's true for now. But every year they're trying to get whatever puppet they can in there, and they know they're running out of natural-born citizens to corrupt. They're going to have to let Arnold Schwarzenegger do it eventually.
It's funny because I was literally just thinking Arnold Schwarzenegger because
you can't not think about it.
Yeah. And in all honesty, hell, like, he'd probably do a better job than our last couple.
Hey, I got to get this thing filled up. You mind?
No, not at all. Go for it.
I will be right back. Don't do anything crazy without me.
Oh, I don't do anything crazy. That's a lie. And see, audience, that's why my coffee maker is right here. So I don't have to go off screen to fill it up.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back. All right, favorite magic card, go.
Chaos Orb. Fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find out. You know what the only thing that's better than Chaos Orb? Chaos Confetti.
Ooh, what is that?
It's the unglued version. You actually have to rip up the card and then throw it in the air, and everything every piece
I would
lands
never
on.
do that. No way.
That's mine.
Awesome. That's cool. You got the lightning bolt.
That is my favorite card. As a matter of fact.
I really like ball lightning. Oh, that reminds me. I'm going to show you something really cool. Yeah. I got a lot of magic cards. You got some dual lands, I see. You got some dualies? Oh, fuck, you love your lightning bolt. What edition is that one on that? The one you got multiples of.
Which one? This one here?
Yeah.
This is M11, and I've got, and between 10 and 11, we got English, Italian, German, Spanish, Portuguese, French,
check
Korean,
this out.
English signed by the artist.
Ready for
25th
this?
anniversary.
Oh, nice.
Some kind of dual deck. Battle Bond foil. 25th anniversary foil.
I think I have a Japanese fireball. It's a black bordered one.
Fireball or lightning bolt?
Fireball and lightning bolt. I have two.
I want that lightning bolt. I am actually.
I'll dig it out.
My collection. I'm trying to get every single lightning bolt ever printed. Not like every one ever, but like one of each.
One of every one. Yeah.
Including every printing, every language.
You ready for this?
Ah! Nice! You got a custom fucking deck box?
Dude, they sent me a pack of their cards. These are the founders cards that they created. They only had a few of them made up, I guess, just for the team or something. But Graham, our lead developer, the legend, he wants this game in every Target store. And these cards are so cool. They feel like they're textured, and it feels like a motherboard, like a circuit board.
Oh, cool. Oh, hold up. Let me adjust the picture on the stream a little bit so that people can see better, because a little bit off there.
These cards are so nice. I mean,
yeah, they look dope as hell.
Yes. Just feeling these cards in my hand, it feels so good. I just can't wait to play this game with other people, like in real life, not just over the board too. I want to play on a table.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait.
Face-to-face gaming is definitely the best. I mean, I love online and everything like that, but no, face-to-face is absolutely king.
Hey, what's going on with the mining network? Are you still chugging away?
I log in every couple of weeks to collect my shit and continue upgrading, but no, I'm really not fucking with it very much at all anymore. Ever since they've pulled out. Like there is no further development for it, anything like that. So I made my profits though. Like I'm not upset about it.
Yeah, me too. I did pretty well. I'm still like top 50 or top 30 or something right now still.
Oh wow, I'm nowhere near. I'm like
No, I know. I rode that game to the moon, cashed out at the top. Sold everything, every miner, every token, all of it right at the top. And then it hit the bottom and I was like, man, I got a lot of profits to play with. I better buy back in. And then right after I bought back in, everybody piled in and it went right to the fucking moon again. And I was like, I'm getting out again. That's be stupid not to.
Right?
Because, there's been so many games that I supported as a player, not as an investor. And then this mining network comes around and I was like, all right, this is a fucking one pump challenge. I'm taking. So I took the one pump challenge and then I thought to myself, goddamn, they're not whitelisted on Atomic Hub. There's a lot of actual players and engaged, active community. Sure, there's a lot of complaints, but that's a good community. And I was like, look, I'm buying in again just for shits and giggles. So I bought like twice as much stuff again to get started. And I had 10x. So I'm taking 20% off the table and I just rebought and I got double the stuff. And then it went to the moon again and I couldn't believe it. And then they sold like the farms and the farms came out and there was another huge pump. But that's when I actually reinvested again. So I did cash out really well, but I could have done better if I hadn't been staying around for this long.
Always could have done better, but that's the trap, right?
Yeah.
Like I've learned that over time is like, take your profits when they're there. Just don't take all your profits. Like I learned that on Doge. When I bought in on Doge at like 0.2 cents a piece. And then between 1 cent and 2.5 cents, I took profit all that way up. And I happily sold the rest of it. I sold emptied my entire bag at 8 cents and then watched it go to 75.
76.
And it's like, I'm not unhappy. I probably made 2,000x. I wish I had put more in. I made 2,000x on not very much at all, but like I could have done so much better.
DJ.
If I just, keep selling chunks all the way up. And I honestly, unfortunately, I didn't learn the lesson well enough on Doge. I had the same lesson on Engine.
Bro, it's there. It's all the time. And Doge, it could have been any other coin. It just was Doge. Okay? There's no real underlying fundamentals that makes Doge Doge other than the time, because it was a very, very early fork of Bitcoin, and the community. which was a very early community of Bitcoin enthusiasts as well, which adds liquidity to the fucking project. You can't get that these days. Like Ethereum is Bitcoin bros. That's who it is. The guys who made Ethereum were just Bitcoin bros, like writing articles for crypto magazines.
Oh yeah, Vitalik is he's not a Bitcoin maxi, but he's definitely a Bitcoin.
Hell yeah, he is, and he knows. Like
he's like, I see everything that they did right on this, and I see a couple of ways that we can improve things about it, and let's do that. And,
yeah,
exactly. I mean, I think Vitalik is pretty fucking awesome. Like,
yeah,
I really enjoy listening to him, and I don't know if you've ever listened to Lex Friedman.
Sure, yeah, I like the Lex Friedman podcast. I'm subscribed.
I love that podcast. Actually, I putting it out there. I want to be on Lex Friedman, or I want Lex Friedman here on Off the Cuff. Like that's. Come
on, Lex. Let's talk Web3 games. Stop talking to all these idiots.
That is honestly like the inspiration behind Off the Cuff was his 3-hour interviews. I was like, all right, let's start that, and then. I managed to. I got a big come up. I fucking punched way above my weight. I reached out to Crypto Stash and I was like, "Hey, I would love to work with you." And he was like, "Sure, let's do it." And I was like, "Oh my god, okay, yes, let's." So that was
off the cuff number just one. Another fucking Stash. Mustache. I watched that interview. You guys, you did great. You crushed it.
Oh, thank you. Because I was scared shitless.
Yeah. Stash is a really nice guy. I mean, he's easy to work with. I've never done any interviews with him, but I have known him. I've talked to him in our group. Like being the #1 block producer on the EOS network, you get to talk to everybody.
Right.
I mean, I'm smoking this oil out of this vape pen because I was introduced to it when I went to B1 June in Washington, D.C. for that gigantic get-together for the EOS network. And there was a bunch of other block producers there, and this one guy had something exactly like this. He was from Calgary, HK EOS. And he's like, "Have you ever tried this?" I was like, "No." And then I wouldn't let go.
Love it.
Because I didn't know, you know what? I'm from Canada, dude, and I didn't want to be traveling to the States with a bag of sunshine in my pocket. And I didn't want to be going to all these weird shady neighborhoods in Washington DC, and dude, there was a lot of them where I was staying in that Airbnb. It was like Chicago but worse.
Right. Now here's the thing though, if you ever need some bud and you don't know anybody around, just go to a restaurant and ask your waiter.
Oh, that's true. That's for sure.
Any restaurant in the world, it doesn't fucking matter. Your waiter 90% of the time is going to have a bag on them. Well, the other 10% of the time, it'll be somebody else in the establishment that does, and the waiter knows who to go to.
Guaranteed. You never go wrong asking a waiter for anything because they have a lot more ins and outs to that kind of stuff than most people do. Same like I said earlier with the concierge at the hotel.
Yep.
You ask the guy working the door at the hotel for anything, and they'll be happy to get it for you. And it comes this fast because they know they're making good tips on that stuff. Whether it's your favorite pizza or your favorite hard drug, it doesn't matter. Even your favorite, like, Jeffrey Epstein, you know?
I don't have a favorite Jeffrey Epstein.
Me neither.
Did he kill himself?
Me neither. Fucking, he's not even dead.
He's not dead? Okay. Where do you think he is?
Oh, he's living on some pedophile island somewhere.
Do you think he's back on his island, or do you think it's a different one?
No, it's definitely a different one.
Yeah, because his island would be too easy. Yeah.
I mean, those fucking lizards, they're probably living underground. I'm just going to say it. But really, in all honesty, did not look like him.
Okay. I haven't done any research into it or anything like that.
Yeah, me neither. This is just a cursory glance at tweets here and there, bro. I'm not racing my boat out to Pedophile Island to sniff around their paperwork. But if I did,
right?
I actually know a couple of guys who went there, Luke Rudowski and Jeff Berwick. They both went to that Pedophile Island after Jeffrey Epstein was incarcerated before.
Oh, that's crazy. I don't even know where that shit is.
Yeah, I don't even know where it is either. It's somewhere.
Somewhere out in the middle of the ocean. Yeah, that's
somewhere in the Bahamas, maybe. Because they're all out in like Mexico and Acapulco. Maybe it's out there. I'm not sure. But yeah, those guys know where to get anything and everything. Yeah. And when I was moving furniture for a long time, so pretty much everybody in the moving business has like a sore shoulder, a bad arm, or a bad back, or wrecked knees or hips, something. It's always something with somebody. Me, I was actually really good at not getting hurt. I feel great. But those guys, they all needed painkillers. So every morning it was like a big safety meeting. Everybody got together. Like even the drivers, most of them were like, pull over so I can roll a joint, doggy. And it's like, oh my God. Bro, yeah. Like everybody smokes pot.
Although seriously, why are you pulling over to roll a joint? You can't fucking roll in a moving vehicle? Like,
yeah, don't you have a map book or a swamper? Don't you have a swamper to help you roll those joints, man?
Like,
everybody smoked weed in the moving industry.
Oh yeah, everybody. No, I've also plenty of moving experience, and yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a few who don't because their tastes run elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And I wish for those guys to take up the hobby of marijuana instead. I mean, if you are an alcoholic or somebody has called you an alcoholic and you don't consider yourself one, maybe just try smoking some weed. It is way better for you.
Yep.
There's ways of doing it that don't trash your throat and your lungs anymore, but still has some damaging effects, but not as much as just rolling it up in a paper and burning it through your throat. Because that's what I'm used to. Fuck. I mean, that's how every mover sounds. If you ever talk to a mover and they're over 40 or 50 years old, they all sound like this and they don't give a fuck what truck they're going to drive. They're just going to get the job done and go home.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they drink their faces. I wish every alcoholic takes up smoking pot. It'll change your life.
Yeah, I dig edibles. I love the fact that like they exist and whatnot, but they don't do a goddamn thing for me.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've had
what kind of edibles are we talking about here?
Any. Like I've tried a lot. I had a buddy of mine had made a bunch of edibles and gave me a bag and was like, I'm warning you, these are pretty potent. You might want to take it easy on them. And so I got home, and I had a couple of friends over. And so, they said, take it easy on them. So, like, I gave everybody a half of one, and then I ate 3. Everybody else is passed out on the couch half an hour later for, like, 3-4 fucking hours. Meanwhile, I'm eating the rest of the bag. So...
Just polishing it off, getting right down like this.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, they were tasty. One time, tasty as shit.
I was doing contract deliveries for these 2 boys and their dad that own like a furniture store and it's kind of like an outlet store where they get they buy like a truckload of cool stuff from like Costco and then they resell it. And these guys they always tipped us with like beers, and I didn't drink at the time, but the other driver and the other swamper that I had, they loved it. And then one day they did this big job and they finished unloading and they got like this big container, and inside the container was brownies and cookies. And they were like, oh my God, is this what I think it is? And he's like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And don't take too much of it. So everybody had one and parked the truck and forgot them in there. And then where I parked the truck was a residential house that we rented out to one of my employees at the time who was staying there. And he went in the truck and saw all that stuff there, but he wasn't working that job. So he had no idea what they were. So he brought them inside and he ate them all of them.
Oh my God.
And there was about 15 different things in there at the time. So about an hour goes by and he calls me up and he's like, bro, what the fuck? Are you trying to kill me? And he was all like paranoid and stuff. And I'm like, hey, relax, man, relax. It's just chocolate. And he had like this really cool trip for like 2 or 3 hours, but he still talks about it still to this day. And he calls me up and he still reminds me he'll never let me live it down. I didn't even leave it in the truck. I wasn't even on that job, dude.
Right?
Don't
It's
need
your
somebody
fault,
else.
man.
You're the one who's dipping your fingers into the cookie jar, not me.
Yeah, that's pretty hilarious.
But I don't know of any one reported case of overdosing on marijuana in all of recorded history. I don't know of one example.
There's my understanding, not a doctor, and I have not researched every person to ever use marijuana ever, of course, but my understanding is nobody has ever actually died from marijuana directly. People have died from being higher than they know how to deal with and making stupid decisions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would attribute that to marijuana then. If it was
but
marijuana.
I mean, like, you can die from a heroin overdose where the heroin itself actually kills you. Or, coke or whatnot. But, like, marijuana itself can't kill you. It can make you stupid enough to walk into traffic.
No way.
And then the car kills you. But it's the car that actually killed you, not the weed. And that's kind of that hairline distinction,
So I guess
to be fair, I mean, Pokemon Go can also make you stupid enough to walk into traffic. That has also happened.
If your friend jumps off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge? If they were playing Pokemon Go and there was something to catch down there, then yes, they would.
I would jump off the bridge as long as I've got the bungee cord securely fastened.
Hey,
or a parachute, or one of them squirrel suits, whatever. Like, yeah, I'm an adrenaline junkie, so you're damn right I'll jump off the bridge in the right circumstances. But, like, or, if I know that the river down there is deep enough that I can hit and not hit bottom, like, whatever, I'll do that kind of stuff. Hey,
you know what? A lot of times those rivers, they have hard water, so it's not about how deep it is. It's about how hard it is when you hit it from a certain height. And most people don't even survive.
Yeah, if you're like over like 300 feet or something like that, I don't know exactly the numbers, but if you're over 300 feet, when you hit water, if you're not exactly right, you might as well be hitting concrete. Because if you don't break that surface tension perfectly, it's not going to yield.
Nope.
Like that's why when you dive, it's fingertips first. Because you've got to get through, and that will disperse and allow the rest of you to go through.
I couldn't even imagine putting my finger. It would be my toes, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going from super high, then yeah.
But I mean, there's cliff divers and stuff that do this kind of stuff professionally, and it just like, no, they got to be doing something to the water, like adding softener, salts, or something. I don't know what, but something.
Yeah, it's
bubbles.
I've seen some crazy fucking shit, to be sure, and it's like
they put bubblers in there. They put like bubblers. They create bubbles to kind of break the surface tension on this.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, I mean that's what they do in swimming, in Olympic-sized swimming pools. We have one here in Winnipeg.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Actually, I never really thought about it in that level of detail, but.
Hey, I wanted to touch on something about Metropolis Origins while we were here, actually. Pokemon Go, right? It's like a VR game where or augmented reality it is, right? Snapchat?
Yeah, vaguely.
Well, that's like a camera application, basically, and they have augmented reality stuff that they're building in their new, like, game studio that they have. And QXR Studios, that builds the same elite team that I work for and built Metropolis Origins. They built a game, like an immersive thing for Metropolis in the Snapchat game, because Snapchat called them up and was like, hey, we're looking for somebody to do something completely new, completely different. It's never been done before. You guys want to check it out? And they were like, yeah, we'll do that. So they got hired to build this game, this immersive thing in Snapchat.
Cool. I've actually never used Snapchat. Like, I know of it, but I don't know anything about it, really.
It's super popular. It's basically like, it's some guys take this cab company and some guys have never tried that cab company. They've always used the other one. Snapchat's like the social, it's like Instagram for kids. They love it.
Yeah, exactly. It's the 4 kids part, which is why I never fucked with Snap. That and like,
I mean,
my
you
girl
can
is like,
send
yeah, if your
photos to
man is
people
on
and then
Snapchat, that means he's cheating on you. So it's like, well, that's something that I don't even need.
pretty much.
Exactly. There's kind of that connotation of it. Like, I'm very happy with who I'm with. I don't need to be causing any kind of, doubts or anything like that. Like, I'm not. So yeah, that's why I've never really fucked with Snap.
I will be with my wife for 20 years this July.
Hold on a second. Let me. I'll be right back.
Better be an anniversary gift because that's coming up, man. I got to get her something great.
I just have to say, hats off to you, sir.
Very nice.
Like that's impressive right there.
That's a beautiful hat, by the way.
Thank you.
What is that called?
Huh?
That's not a fedora, is it?
Yes. Actually, that is an actual fedora, not a fucking trilby, which everybody calls a fedora.
I know my fucking hats, don't I?
Yep.
I have a top hat from like the 1800s in a box.
Oh, fucking nice.
It's real. It's in a box, and it's fucking awesome.
This feather here, actually, I have a bunch of them, but
yeah,
brilliant blue on one side, brilliant yellow on the other. This actually came from a blue macaw. My fiance's uncle has a blue macaw. Her name is Tex. We used to think that she was male, and then she laid an egg, so her name became Texana. But yeah, like it's
that's fucking brilliant, actually.
Yeah, I fucking love that these feathers. They're such great colors, and of course, being raised in Detroit, I don't care about college sports at all. But when I do, it's go blue. Michigan Wolverines, blue and yellow. Fuck Ohio State.
Hey, whereabouts in Canada did you originate?
All around Toronto. I was born in Hamilton and lived in, Oshawa and Whitby and Ajax and Scarborough and like all over that fucking place.
Yeah.
And
glad to be gone
grade
from there,
7 is when we moved down to Detroit.
Oh yeah. Nice. Well, that's just over the bridge, isn't it? From
tunnel, more so than the bridge. Because whenever we would go back home, I always used to.
Oh, that's Windsor, Ontario, is the bridge to Chicago, isn't it?
No, the bridge is also to Michigan. But like it was more out of the way. And my favorite man-made structures are bridges. I fucking love bridges. They're amazing.
Yeah.
And so I would always ask Mom, like, anytime we were going to Canada, like, can we take the bridge instead of the tunnel? The tunnel was so much faster. It was like 3 hours out of the way to take the bridge. Because the tunnel was just right there. But, yeah, it's a hop, skip, and a jump either way. And, yeah, family is Chatham, I believe is where her parents lived, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, like all over that area.
I mean, I haven't been all over that area, but I've definitely sold and shipped a ton of Bowflex machines out to that area. Lots, dude. I was there.
I've always wanted a Bowflex
for like 5 years straight.
Out of all kind of lifting equipment and whatnot, I like free weights, but like out of any kind of machine, Bowflex seems like the one that I'm most interested in. Like honestly.
It's a great machine. There's a lot of people who have negative connotations about it because it's just they call it rubber bands all the time. But even a rubber band, it does offer that progressive resistance, so that throughout most people don't even get the full extension of the exercises that they're doing, unless you're in the gym and you're using a machine that offers the full extension.
Right.
But free weights, people will cheat.
Oh yeah. All the time.
We'll cheat all the time.
I know the proper techniques, and I'm still guilty of it. Like
it's in our DNA because we're like water. We go the path of least resistance, and if you leave everything to us to do it, over time we develop bad habits because we're cheating ourselves out of exercising properly.
Yeah, if you are actually doing the movements correctly, then are free weights more efficient? Yes. However, you have to be, number one, you have to already be in shape enough to do the movements correctly.
It kind of depends on what you want out of it. Like if you want to build muscle mass and just look bigger, then free weights is the way to go, and you can do it really quickly because you're just working the major muscle groups. But with the progressive resistance of the bands, the shakiness like this that happens, it goes away over time, and then it becomes really smooth because with free weights, a bar distributes the weight and it's balanced perfectly, so you're just pushing the weight. But with the independent hand grips and the resistance on each side, if one arm's weaker than the other, it'll take longer and you'll shake more. But as you progress through your Bowflex, all the little stabilizer muscles that connect those major muscle groups that you want to get bigger also get ripped and defined, and that's where the stability comes in. So everything is better after working out on a Bowflex. It's just true. Your body just works better because you're working all of the little tiny supporting muscle groups and the big major muscle groups. So it's weird. I mean, there's a lot of gripes about it, but it's just like anything else. You have to really, really work at it. And you might have to push yourself a little bit longer on a Bowflex to reach certain plateaus. So it's, no pain, no gain. It still applies to a Bowflex, and you'll get better results on a Bowflex, but it's actually harder work, a little bit harder work. So.
Yeah, and the key is really just fucking do it. It doesn't really matter if it's a Bowflex, free weights, any other kind of machine. Like, do it. Just fucking do it! Just do it!
You can do it!
Like, that's all that really matters is as long as you're fucking moving, you're applying the resistance, you're being active,
right.
You're going to get the results that you seek as long as you do something. And the thing I like about, the Bowflex is it takes up a decent amount of room to be able to get that full range of movement, but it's compact. It's one thing, and
it folds up and it takes up about 2 square feet of your floor. It's like, you can put it really just about anywhere. It's like a nightstand. It takes up about as much room as a nightstand when it's folded up.
Yeah, I mean, you need a little bit more room to be able to, lay the bench down and have the bows actually, fully.
And they have so many different models now to choose from. Like lots of them are like, they take up a lot more space and they're not as portable. But, they offer like a lot of exercises without changing everything, right?
Yeah.
So, it's this or that. But they have so many different models. It's unbelievable now.
Yeah, and as far as all of the home gyms go, like, I would definitely say from, again, layperson, someone who doesn't really know, like, I'm not, super physical or trained on anything like that, but Bowflex seems to be the most mechanically sound of all of the home gyms.
Yeah, they build it with really good materials. It's made in the USA, I believe. Or no, sorry. It's manufactured in the US. It's made somewhere else, actually. And then it's shipped to the USA. And then it's packaged in the USA. But it's definitely not made in the USA. I thought it was for a long time. But you know how these corporations are, bro. It's just people. It's profits over people. They'll lie to you. They'll put bugs in your Jell-O, and you won't even find out about it until 10 years later when you find out the definition of gelatin is just bug shit or whatever.
Right. Yeah, it's even American babies are not made in the U.S. anymore. It's like nothing is fucking made in this country anymore, except for mistakes.
Crisis?
Mistakes are absolutely made in America.
Absolutely, man. You know what? I love the United States of America and Canada. I just don't like the administrations that are in place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I love the country and I hate the government.
I love the people. I love the anthems. I mean, I love the spirit of nationality and patriotism, community. That's all it is, because we're just one big human family, right? But
exactly.
You don't need a state actor lying to you with your own tax dollars pay for the advertising against you to tell you what's good in your life. You need a good community to follow and for you to set a good example for the next generation. That's all it is.
Yeah,
It's just a
community is
big
everything.
global community. And the only reason they want a global government instead of big distributed amount of well communicating and networked villages is so that they can tax us all under the same bill. I think that's all it is. Global governments is all about efficient taxation. That's all it is.
And control. Yeah, to have more control over the minutiae of your daily life. That's, that's part of the problem, of course. Seems like just about everything is part of the problem, though.
Hey, you want some alpha on a wax collection that is 420 friendly?
Sure.
It's called StonyBaloneyCards.com. The collection is like Stony Baloney. They have a Telegram, they have a Discord, they have a website and a merch store. They're working with guys like Rob Pryor, who already sells NFTs for one of one art pieces for like $70,000 and up.
Oh wow.
And Rob Pryor's going to be doing some one of one prints for these guys at Stony Baloney, but nobody really knows this stuff because nobody pays attention. Stony
I'm
Baloney
going there right
is
now, actually.
It's two brothers from Los Angeles. It's Mike and Lee Goldstein, the Goldstein brothers.
Are you familiar with Faded Monsuda? Sensei Bullrog? Another great 420 friendly project on wax that you should
I want to check it out. I definitely want to check it out.
And his art style is fucking insane. And as far as streamers go and whatnot, like, I wish I had half of that man's energy. Like, he is so fucking entertaining when he's on stream. He is just all over the fucking place, and it's brilliant. And
you're doing a really good job on your stream. I've enjoyed watching your nightly streams and stuff. Like when I'm just kicking back in there and I get a notification, I'm like, yeah, last night I was playing Gears of War 5 with my wife on the Xbox while listening to you guys talk on the phone.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. And it was a good show.
Yeah, that was my best friend Ben is my co-creator for this world. He's actually he went to college for geology. Like, he's not like a working geologist or anything like that, but like he helped me to make it so that as much as possible is actual legit science and as little as possible is hand waved as because magic. Like, we have
it's nice. It's nice to have somebody like that.
Oh yeah.
Especially when you're building a world, it's nice to have a geologist with you. Oh my God.
Yeah, and like, so we've got a lot of like realistic reasons why things are the way that they are, and like consequences and repercussions of certain things. And of course, we started with the caveat that, okay, well, this world is a cube, so obviously that's not possible, but we're doing it anyways. So where do we go from there? And so, like, this world would not exist without him. Like, I had the ideas and like a whole lot of the things and whatnot. But
it would be a completely different world, eh?
Yeah, as far as like actually building it into a planet, like it would not exist without him. And that's why it's like, even if he wasn't, on my streams with me on Wednesdays and whatnot, like, no matter what, any profits that ever come from Galil, like, he gets half of it.
Nice.
It would not exist without him. And like, that was true back in the day before, Web3, anything like that. Like, if I were to, because I originally was like, well, I want to, produce third-party, stuff for D&D, and actually, it's kind of grown to the point where it wouldn't even be D&D anymore. It would be its own game for, tabletop, called Excelsior, with a bunch of different, stats and skills and abilities and stuff like that, but very similar kind of gameplay, just like, White Wolf and Pathfinder and all these other, different versions of D&D for various reasons. But the kind of the best way that I could describe why to make the second world or make a different game is like, if you imagine the Greyhawk setting like the typical D&D world, we'll compare that to Adam West's Gotham City, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you consider Golaron, which is the default world for Pathfinder, we'll compare that more to George Clooney or Val Kilmer's Gotham City.
Right, so it's like a multiverse of anything can happen in there.
Yeah, well, Galil is more like the Christian Bale Gotham City. Like
Nice.
it's harsh, it's gritty, it's a rough fucking world. There are a lot of things happening, and not all of it is your level. And if you happen to go down the wrong path, you will regret it, but probably not for long. Like, I have a single encounter that I have designed that it's actually the only thing I've ever run online. But there's one single encounter that I have run 5 parties of 20th level characters through, and I have had 0 survivors.
What? Man, I gotta jump on that game.
On the very first, like, the actual campaign that I have written for it. So, this is the main side of the planet, right? This is called Nakala. And you can see the Iron Spine Mountains up here. This is a huge fucking mountain range. And the reason for that is because there is literally, like, the Grand Canyon right here all the way across this side of the planet.
Sweet. Is that 3D printed?
No, this is actually built out of poster board.
Oh my God, you did good.
Yeah, I've been working on this actual model for umpteen years. But, so when the campaign starts, the year is Common Era 8, and you start at a royal wedding. And the Common Era is decided by the end of the war between the humans and the elves, which lasted for well over 1,000 years. And during that 1,000 years, most of the written history of the world has been destroyed.
Nice.
But 350,000 years ago, approximately, of course, is when the world actually became the cube. So we have 6 elder dragons who, and this is something that, like, before the breaking, none of that will ever come up in the game. Like, it is all a great unknown thing. But they knew that there was something coming that they could not deal with, and that was going to basically wipe out all sentient life on the planet. So, and there were 7 elder dragons. 6 of them guardianshiped themselves to the planet, and they hated each other so much that that's what forced the planet into the shape of the cube. The 7th one made humanoid races when he guardianshipped himself. And so what he did was he actually created a race of creatures called the Saurians. And
Saurians.
Yes, they kind of, you know, wandered the earth for a while, or wandered the planet for a while, and then after 1,000 years, they died. And then in their place would be a few specimens of a new humanoid race. And the personality of the Saurians, as well as the nature of their demise, affected what was created. So, like, a lot of the monstrous humanoid races, they came about through, like, Saurians getting killed and whatnot, or murdered and whatnot. And so the first batch of humanoids all kind of happened together, and there were 13 that happened all at once. And of those, the first was elves, because there were 9 of those Saurians that kind of gathered together when the shit was about to occur.
Man, it would be nice if for once the elves weren't the first.
They are, but you'll understand why when we get to the end of this. So the elves were the first, and then was gnomes, and then halflings, and then gnolls, and then orcs. So those were the first 5. So you already kind of have tensions arising there, because of course elves, halflings, gnomes being the first 3, they all banded together, and then gnolls show up, and they're these ugly, mean-spirited things, and so it's kind of like, well, those 3 and then that one, and then the orcs come along, and they're also outcast from the 3. So, like, from the very beginning, we've got bad blood between those 2. Or between those 5. fast forward a while, like hundreds of thousands of years, right? It's about 10,000 years BCE, and the last Saurian dies. They are now extinct. Last Saurian dies of cancer, and the race that is spawned is humans. Humans are the worst thing that ever happened to this beautiful world, much like they are on Earth.
Nice.
So they're basically completely destructive and just much like humans are to Earth. And they're just, conquest and destruction and all of that shit. And just problems since then. So the elves, realizing how destructive humans are, put forth to the Council of Races that we should not allow humans to learn the art of wizardry, because there are certain things that wizards can do that no other casters can, even like sorcerers and whatnot, particularly one from Wheel of Time, which have you read Wheel of Time?
Yeah.
Okay, so Balefire exists in Galil.
Okay.
And
What's
that
the
is
name
kind
of
of, a 10th level spell. But it is only available for wizards. Sorcerers never gain access to it. And once the elves and some of the other races realized how wantonly destructive humans were, they're like, maybe we should not allow them to have access to a spell that is powerful enough to erase something from the timeline and back in time. So they banned humans from learning wizardry. And, like, on pain of death, anybody who is caught teaching wizardry to a human would be killed. Any wizardry school would be razed. Humans naturally did not like that, and so they went to war with the elves, and that's how that all started. And we're at the royal wedding of High Prince Tudor, who is king in all but name of the primary human land of Alaya, and he is marrying the daughter of King Roland of Westfall, which is the other primary human land. And the tensions that are being resolved by this wedding are because Alaya is the one that started the war, and Westfall is the ones that ended the war. So there have been tensions between them, and that's kind of what is going on here. And then, at that wedding, shit hits the fan, and I'm not going to drop any more spoilers than that, because I do still want to run this campaign as an actual tabletop thing. This will not necessarily be something that's happening within the Web3 game. But so where we're starting on Dragon Memories is you are actually, the Elder Dragons are starting to wake up because they guardianship themselves to the planet.
And you said there's 6 of them?
Yeah.
There's 6 Elder Dragons?
Well, there are 7, but the 6 of them that are with the planet, they're starting to wake up. And so as a player of Dragon Memories, you actually have the opportunity to go into the dragon's memories, explore the history of the world that there is no other way to find out, and try and figure out why these dragons are waking up. Figure out what is going on and what can be done about it. And that is kind of the concept of this first part of the game. So there's going to be, obviously, 6 dragons' memories that you can go into. We're probably not going to do a Dragon Memories for 6, which is the 7th dragon, which is the one that created the humans. His name is SCYXZ.
Skiz.
6. The C is silent. So is the Z. 6. But so we go from that, and like you're gonna be going through that, and then the real game to come out of it is going to be an MMO. Like that's how you actually explore Galil. I want to have the open world sandbox, but as somebody who is relatively new to game development, I didn't want to start out by trying to build World of Warcraft. that's a big fucking project. So we're starting out with kind of like a dungeon crawler style. It's not a dungeon that you're crawling, but it's a very similar mechanics to, you know, a dungeon crawl, because you've got, you know, it's a very railroady storyline. You're learning the history of Galil through going through these.
So is it going to be like a first-person shooter style, like, but you're casting?
Kind of, yeah. I'm working with my lead dev, and we're kind of going back and forth as to whether it's going to be more FPS or Diablo style or like turn-based, because I feel like the turn-based is going to make the Web3 implementation a whole lot easier, but also know that, you know, the fully active makes for more engaging gameplay. So I'm kind of trying to decide on that one, but we've got a lot. You know, we're working on the abilities and the equipment and everything like that. I've got all of that figured out. I've taken a lot of inspiration from like the Splinterland setup of, you know, how you start your battle. You have X amount of mana and whatever restrictions on what you can use and whatnot. So whenever you go into the dungeon, you're going to have a screen kind of like that where, you know, things are set up and here's your restrictions. And then you put, basically you gear up. So you'll have your race, you'll have your class that, you know, you kind of select whenever you start your character, and then all of the different gear, your abilities, everything like that, that's all going to be NFTs. And so that's where that comes from. And then you know, set up your adventure gear, and then you go explore the dungeon. And it's going to be difficult to progress, because like every time that you, like every room that you go into, you know, things get 10% harder. And then, you know, there are little breaks and resets, but every time it resets to a little bit higher than it was before. And so by the time you're actually getting to the end, because we're talking about, and I still need to figure out the words that we're going to use for this, because it's not a book. But basically imagine each one of these dragons has 10 books, each of which is 10 chapters, each of which is 10 pages. So basically every one of the dragons has 1,000 pages or rooms or whatever to go, but it's 1,000 deep, and there's 6 of them. So we're going to be launching pre-alpha in Q4, and we're starting out with just the 2, because you have to play the first one to unlock the second one, and then you have to, you know, get further and further and further to unlock each of the rest of them. But yeah, that
sounds really interesting. Actually, I would love to play a game like that on Wax.
Yeah, and I think
Polygon.
We're probably going to actually build it like off-chain and just bridge to Wax and Hive.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that way we can have less interactions with Wax. You don't have to fucking, you know, sign every goddamn room.
You only need the assets on chain. Everything else can be. They just have a game that works and is fun.
Exactly. And I mean, my dev is fucking amazing. He's working on his own game as well. Also built on Unreal, and his is a first-person shooter, and so but he's kind of doing them in tandem, and
that's my jam. That's my jam, man. I love first-person shooters.
See, for me, I don't honestly like. I love them as like I love that they exist. I'm happy for, you know, the gamers that absolutely do love them and whatnot, but I'm terrible at first-person shooters in general. And then
I would rather play a game of chess than a first-person shooter. But when it comes to just jumping on the console and just shutting my brain off, it's first-person shooters all the way.
Yeah, no, I totally get you on that. But for me, like, having done War for Real, it's not as entertaining to do it in a game, because when you get shot, there is no fucking respawn. It is kind of weird
that it's so popular, too.
Yeah, and so, like, the hyper-realistic ones, I just have no interest in whatsoever. Now, stuff like Quake, Halo, fucking Doom, Wolfenstein, like, where it's a fantastic style of first-person shooters, I can get into those and I can have fun with them, even though I suck at them. But
I played a lot of Subspace. That might actually be my favorite game.
okay, I'm not familiar with that one.
It's like Asteroids. It's a two-dimensional shooter where your ship is in the center of the screen, and you fly your ship around, and you got a little mini map, and you're going around. So it's kind of like a first-person shooter in a two-dimensional style spaceship. You pick like one of 8 different types of ships, each with their different abilities, like multi-fire, strong bullets, or big bombs, or giant mines, or bouncy bullets, and all kinds of cool different things. And you go pick up greens and upgrade your ship. You start at 30 greens, and your ship would be a little weak, and you'd have a couple of special abilities. One of the abilities was repel, where you just repel. Like if you have like one guy shooting you from this way, one guy shooting you from this way, and you're running into a bunch of mines that somebody put, you just repel, and everything goes in all directions around you, and it can actually hit other people. So there was like people who would set up like 5 mines in a little stack and then repel you away from them into their mines. Like mine repping was a thing.
Nice.
And you could jump on somebody who was a better pilot, and you could just be a turret where you just see your gun going around, and you could attach up to like 6 other players on top of your back. And you would fly around flying a turret, and people would form special frequencies, jump on their own frequency and fly around in these ships attached to the best driver in the game. And man, you could and there was cloakers. You could like cloak your ship. So there'd be cloaked turrets. So you'd just be flying around looking for stuff, and you're not checking your X radar if you have X radar. And that's another power up that you get from picking up these greens.
Yeah.
So these greens are all over the map, and the maps are user created. It was just a cheap 2-dimensional map editor that everybody had access to. It's all open source. Man, awesome game. What an awesome game. And their slogan, it was actually the first MMORPG, really. Kind of not a role-playing game, but it was the first MMO. And their motto was meet people from all over the world and then kill them.
That's a line from Full Metal Jacket. One of the reasons I joined the Marine Corps.
Hey, hang on one sec. Someone's calling me. I'll be right back.
Alrighty. I joined the Marine Corps because I wanted to travel the world, meet interesting people, and then kill them.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back. I'm actually reading the Stony story here. It sounds pretty interesting.
You know, these two brothers from LA, Mike and Lee, are such good guys. They are building this gigantic story like it's a comic book. They have a mini series coming out, like cartoon, and it's anyway. I don't really want to speak. I don't want to say too much actually because I don't really know what I'm allowed to say, to be honest. But they got some super cool stuff getting cooked up, and it's all going to tie into their NFT collection that's on wax that nobody really even pays attention to or cares about right now. And yeah, it's going to be crazy. They're looking for people to work with too. I should definitely put you in touch with them. Maybe
Yeah,
even
I was
get
just
you
gonna say, like, if they would be interested in coming on, I would definitely be
They would.
interested in having them. If you want to put us in touch, I'll definitely throw that invite out there and have
Yeah,
them
I'll
on.
make that happen for sure. For sure.
Probably next month. I've got the next couple of weeks booked up, but man, I'm super stoked at how well this series is actually going. Like I said, you know, I was a little intrepid when I started fucking.
You know what? I'm gonna send you some Stony Baloney packs to open up, man.
Oh hell yeah! Thank you. And I'm also yeah. Go ahead and drop your wax in our chat. I invited you to the kind of the back room in my Discord, which is where I've got like everything pinned. So you'll have access to basically
Thank you.
everything for Dragon Memories from there.
Sweet. I'm gonna dig into this six-sided world of yours, and I might even build my own out of a collection of dried gum. I'm in the wrong account here. I got to log into my other account. Oh, Nefty blocks actually. I can mint Stony Baloney cards for you to open.
Oh, heartburn. I don't know why. I haven't even eaten or drank anything for the last.
I need my Anchor wallet. You use an Anchor wallet?
Yes. Actually, I got 2 anchors and 1 cloud wallet.
Oh boy.
Just sent you in the DMs all of the addresses, and if you'll send me yours, I can go ahead and send you some pack vouchers for Dragon Memories as well. You're not going to be able to open them yet, but they'll be redeemable 4-packs when we have them.
Hey, I'm checking it out. Somebody wants to play me in Metropolis Origins. It's kind of my job to play video games now, which is really cool because I'm a gamer.
Right? That's where I'm trying to get to as well. Like, I went full-time content for a while, and I did so a little too early. Wasn't able to actually, sustain. So now I'm back in a fucking kitchen again. But hopefully, once we actually launch, that's going to change.
Sweet. Okay, I see this general area here. Open mic tonight. Yo, yo, yo. I'm in your Discord. Thank you, sir. I gotta do the double counter.
And then when you're in there, scroll down. You'll see the tavern office. The dimly lit table in there is where everything, like, where the team stuff is linked.
Success. Oh, I'm just doing the double counter thing. Sorry, scroll down to what was it?
In the tavern office area.
Yeah.
The dimly lit table, that's where everything's pinned. actually have some things I need to add to the pin and get more on
All
there.
right. What's the address you want me to mint these to? I'm not ready for it yet, but
They're in our DMs.
all right.
And they're separated. So the first one that says play, that's my actual like for me. Then there's the giveaway address ricotm.gm, and then there's the Dragon Memory game. Dragon Memories is the game, but Dragon Memory is the wax address because 12 characters.
Sweet. Where do you want some Stony Balonies in the play address? Your wham?
Yeah, if it's for me, then it's the wham. If it's for giveaways, then it's the Rico TM.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll give them to you, and if you want to give them away, you can.
I'll give some away, of course.
You should collect the Stony Baloney cards.
Oh, absolutely. I'll probably send you over some Faded Monsuda as well, because they're pretty cool. I'm going to have to pick some up, though. I think I've got all of them staked. Can you stake the Stony Balonies on Waxdow or anything like that?
Not yet, but they are looking at it with Monster Vision. You know Monster Vision?
I do not. I'm not familiar.
Oh, interesting. And there's a lot of circles on Wax. I'm glad that we're able to unite them all. You're going to love these people. Anyway, Munster is like an artist himself, has a nice collection on Wax, and I'll introduce you to him as well. He works with the graffiti punks and stuff.
Oh, cool.
He's also in the Stony Baloney group. He's going to help them set up a Waxdow pool for staking on their collection.
Nice. Yeah, the Faded Monsuda have a couple actually of Waxdow because they have multiple seasons worth of cards, a lot of different NFTs, and so they had one for a while, and then it just got too fucking big, so now they split it up by season, so now there's like 5. But you get airdrop the THC token, and it's actually doing pretty well. Like THC's carrying some value, and it's holding it pretty steady, so that's very
nice. Right on. I'm going to send you one of each pack.
Sweet. I will open them live on stream tonight. That way everybody can see it.
Stony packs. Oh, yeah. They have the new Guinea, the MIDI, and the Ganjanator. Yeah. 3 different size packs for you.
I'm gonna go take a look, y'all. What is your preferred site for looking at your collection and whatnot for dealing with stuff on Wax? Do you like Nifty? You like Atomic? Do you like?
I prefer Atomic for viewing and searching, but I like Nifty for like bulk. And I think NFT Hive is probably the superior of all of them when it comes to functionality. But I tend to actually just use them all. It just depends on what I'm going to be doing. Like right now, if I'm minting assets, I'm using Nifty blocks because I think that their tools are just faster and easier to mint. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's just what I'm used to. But anytime I'm shopping around for baseball cards, like if I'm looking for some new low mints to add to my #1 ranked baseball card set in the world, I use Atomic Hub and I look at my sets in my set collection page to see what I'm missing. So when I'm collecting and building sets, I use Atomic Hub. But when I'm searching for Garbage Pail Kids, I only use NFT Hive because they're the only ones who support both the atomic assets and the simple assets. So you always get the correct mint number on NFT Hive. On Atomic Hub, you don't know what you're buying because it's all dependent on the bridge. and their bridge is not taking into account the mint numbers from simple assets, which to me is not cool, man.
Right?
I want to know what I'm buying, bro.
Yeah, it's important.
It's not just a fucking JPEG, okay? I want mint number 1 and done.
Exactly. When that's what you're buying, you want to make sure that that's what you're getting.
Exactly. So yeah, long story short, I guess I use all of them, and if I had to pick one over all of them, I would say NFT Hive, because you know definitely what you're getting. It has all the same features and functionality. They have a honey token. It's built by a great guy named Ben, who's been in the Wax ecosystem since day one, helping people. I mean, he deserves people to use his marketplace too. He's a great guy, and he has a great product.
Yeah, I'm actually just starting to dive into NFT Hive. I've been using Nefty for a while. I don't really care for Atomic for most things. Although, like, one of the things I do like about Atomic is that, like, say for realm leaders and whatnot, like, you can hover over it and actually see the fucking level. You don't have access to that at all on Nefty. Like, why is it not there? I don't fucking know, but...
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know either. It should be there.
But I like Nefty because of the Nefty token and getting those rewards just for shopping on there, and then I just throw it all into the liquidity pool just to earn even more, stake some of it to earn some wax. So now basically I take the wax that I earn from my stake Nefty and the Nefty that I earn from my LP rewards and just put it back into the LP and just keep fucking blowing that shit up. I love LPs. Probably.
Yeah, I was in the LP pool for Nefty blocks quite early actually, and it was great.
I actually have recently gotten up to 0.01% share. Yes!
Very nice. You
There's
climbing the
a couple
ladder,
that's
man.
actually THC wax I'm like 1% of. And then there's Tegrity Shing, which I'm like 5% of. But I'd say honestly, like, my favorite game is LPs. Especially.
Okay, you might want to check your WAM because I sent you 3 packs of Stony Baloney cards.
Yeah, that's actually where I'm going. And when I pull up Nefty, it automatically goes to the LP page and the rewards. So that's why, like, I brought that up because I was there. But yeah, I see it here: Nagini, Midi, and Ganjanator.
Yeah, they are the most dope collection on Wax for sure. And they have the most dope pack opening on Wax for a 420 project. You'll see.
Hell yeah, that shit looks awesome.
Maybe you can hold up and open them up on stream when you're interviewing them because they're good. They're just great guys to talk to.
Absolutely, looking forward to it.
I'll drop the link actually in the chat here. Just got to go find it. Mining network, huh?
Yeah, I need to update my links in my page because there's a few games on there that I'm no longer associated with, and I've been kind of rebuilding my entire stream setup and everything like that as well. Kind of switching over from playing to building. I still do a little bit of gameplay and whatnot, but mostly like you saw last night, most of the stream is really focused on Dragon Memories, and then I'm still kind of tracking my progress on everything like that, but definitely really focusing on building, getting shit done, and getting information out there about what's going on, everything like that, and then kind of reaching out and meeting more people within the community and getting people like yourself on for great fucking discussions like this.
Yeah, they are. They're really good. It's good to get, great minds together in this space. And you don't even have to talk about this space. It's just showing that 2 grown-ass men can have a great conversation and not even get distracted with shop talk. Right, and at the same time, we're networking because I'm introducing you to these collections of like guys who just need people to see them, and you're a great person to show them to because you're going to show your audience, and eventually millions of people will see this.
Exactly.
Eventually. And it has to start somewhere, and that's what we're doing. I think that's why I really enjoy your content, is because it's real.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So do we, like, when gameplay for Stony Baloney? Do we know that, or is it active
The
now?
Bud Battles, yeah, they're working on this game called Bud Battles, where it's kind of like, it's kind of like a Street Fighter, but they have like this map that you can move around in different settings. So it's like, I don't want to give too much away, but it looks insane.
Cool.
Insanely good. And I'm a gamer, bro.
Nice.
I'm ready to go, doggy. I don't know about you, but I'm ready.
Right.
I'm ready to try this game. As soon as it comes out, I'm going to be Bud battling for sure.
Hell yeah. Well, we're looking at, for Dragon Memories, we're looking at a pre-alpha Q4. And then full game release.
You said it was built in Unreal Engine, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Sweet.
and my dev, his project that he's doing kind of solo is called Respawn. That's the first-person shooter. And actually, do I have...
Hang on one sec, Rick. I'll be right back.
You're muted, sir.
It's okay. You didn't miss much. I said, all right, I'm back.
I saw it, and I kind of was able to contextually figure out what you were saying. I was just letting you know before anything else was said that was missed.
I had to go check. I got 2 young kids here with me, and I got a babysitter. But, the babysitter, they don't know where everything is all the time, so they need help, too.
Yep, fair enough. My lady is actually about to get off work, so I do need to start getting some things ready for her, but I do greatly appreciate you spending this time with us, and I'll give you a few moments to go ahead and whatever you would like to speak about, let people know where to find you and how to follow up on your projects, and whatever else you want to talk about. I'll give you the mic for a few minutes.
All right, sounds good. I'm just going to drop a bunch of links in the chat for everybody. This is where you can watch our motion comics. You can download the game and play right away. You can join our community. You can follow us on Twitter. You can definitely check out our motion comics. If you guys like comics or really good artwork or any kind of cyberpunk things, check out the motion comics done by Andy Lanning. The guy is a genius. The game that we have is Metropolis Origins. Download the new client, come beta test it with us, get a play sticker.
Oh, we're in beta right now. Okay, cool.
Yeah, just come. Well, the game is always going to be in beta because this is a really immersive game. And it's going to get way deeper than just a 1-versus-1 tactical card game. But if you do like Splinterlands, or if you do like Warsake, if you do like Magic the Gathering, you will absolutely fall in love with Metropolis Origins.
Gotcha.
It is so much better than anybody's ever, than I could even describe in words. You have to play the game, and it's only going to get better. And I can't wait to get these cards in Target and Walmart and every other store in the country, because we're not about blockchain. It's not about blockchain. It's about having fun. A blockchain is just a great way to buy and sell your cards when you're done with them or you want new ones.
Right.
The blockchain is just the new card store. without really high expensive fees or getting hosed or getting robbed or getting fire and flood damage. That's all it really is. It's just a back end for your assets. It's not about confusing anybody with how to hold onto a wallet or a private key. It's not a less elliptical curve cryptography. No, no, no. It's a game, and it is super fun. And the guy that made it is a legend, and you can't not have fun with games like this. And we talked a lot about Dungeons and Dragons, and I can tell you that he's a big fan of these games. I mean, Graham was just playing that new Zelda game that just came out. You know what I mean? Like, he's still got his finger on the pulse of gaming technology. He is totally immersed in this industry. This is his dream. He built this game in 1987 on a DOS disk. He came up with his own language model in the game, which was like AI, where you type in, how do I get here, or how do I get there, or give me information on this or that. And the DOS disk would answer you in like an AI type fashion back in 1987. And now he's building Metropolis Origins as a expansion to that original idea that he had so many years ago. And in that time, he's got all this experience with all these AAA game studios. This is a AAA game studio on wax. Download it and find out. Fuck around and find out.
I've already downloaded it. I am very much looking forward to diving in and getting some playtime and figuring shit out, working around there and whatnot. And
it's the best, man. Anybody can come in to our Discord, drop your wax wallet, and I'll get you a playtest sticker. But we got to see you in there playing the game too.
Exactly. Like, don't just fucking collect shit. Like, if you're gonna get the shit,
screenshot.
Come in and
no
fucking
bots.
play the shit.
No bots. Just players.
Right.
You want to play the bot? We have AI. If there's nobody in the hub, you can just play against AI, and AI is going to kick your butt.
Gotcha. So that's the answer to the question from earlier: is how are we dissuading bots? We have our own.
We have our own bot army. Yes. But anybody can play this game for free. It doesn't take much. There are some requirements like downloading the client or, updating your drivers, because they just updated the client and the server to the new Unreal Engine 5.2 software, which just came out from, and Epic Games has their own little stuff that, they just released, and it's all up to date. So it's right on the leading edge of technology by a AAA game studio, small, but elite game studio.
Yeah.
Check us out.
And of course, I wasn't actually complaining when I was like, "Oh, this is a pain in the ass." I was just like being funny because it felt like it was like, download this now, okay, install this now, download this now, install this now, download this now, install this. It was just like, oh my god, so many fucking steps.
And that's how it is. When it's 0 day, when it's the newest stuff, it's not something that's supposed to work flawlessly. It's supposed to be breaking every couple hours, and you're supposed to be like pulling your hair out, frustrated, but having, again, an experience that nobody else in the world is having right now because you're first.
Exactly.
And in this game, these guys, I've been around since just after they launched the packs. I came in late. I bought a bunch of stuff off the secondary and loaded up, and I love this game. I didn't know anything about it. I just knew it's a trading card game, same as Splinterlands, and same with all of the card games, all of them. I bought cards for all of them because you never know which one's going to be really good. And this one is really good, and it's really, really good.
Gotcha.
And they always have this underlying, this undercurrent of supporting early adopters, like in the first playtest that they had over 100 people come and play the game in their alpha release, and they rewarded all of them with an early retirement card, which is kind of like the Black Lotus of the collection right now. It could be worthless in a few days or a few years, but right now it's like a really popular, really powerful card that you can have in your deck that can save you from certain destruction in a lot of games. So it's nice to have. It's not paid to win, it's play to win.
Gotcha.
Early adopters always get something. And this playtest sticker that you can earn for just coming and dropping your wax address and a screenshot of playing a game, even against AI, which is free. Everybody gets a tourist deck to play with. You can mix and match and make a couple of different deck ideas, throw some combos in. And for like 40 wax, you can get about 80 cards right now, which is every card in the set. So come on down, grab some cards, and Catch me if you can. I'll be in the hub.
Hell yeah. Sounds like
I'm ready to play. You got to check out the sound effects. It's so dope.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. But to the audience, thank you so very much for joining us. And Data, if you want to go ahead and send me all of your links for wherever else when I upload to YouTube or, when I get everything on the YouTube changed over and whatnot, I'll put all of your links in there so people know how to find you and Metropolis Origins, everything like that. We'll make sure that all of that information is out there. And once again, want to say thank you very much for joining us. I know that we went a little bit over time, but
good. It was a good time. So, yeah, it was a good time. And cheers. Hey, thanks for the coffee, bro.
My pleasure. Cheers.
Thank you.